Hey guys, what's going on? I'm just finishing up a little game here. As you can see, I know a lot of you guys that play 40K out there. It's sort of it's sort of hard to do this, and there we go. Anyways, welcome YouTube. And you're like wondering, what the heck am I doing? Well, here we go. I've had several requests to do a Warhammer 40K how to play series. So if you already know how to play 40K and you're an expert, you don't want to watch these videos. If you want to learn a little bit how to play 40K, then stay tuned, sit back, and let's get on with it. Alright guys, here we go. We're going to do our first part of how to play Warhammer 40K. The Warhammer 40K, there are basically, each player has 3 phases. First phase is the movement phase, which is what this video is going to start to cover. The next phase is the shooting phase, and then the last phase is the close combat phase. As you can see, we have 4 Khorne berserkers. Infantry in the game has a movement of 6 inches. 6 inches. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom out a little bit. Whoops, wrong way. But anyways, that's basically how far they could move. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a little bit different representation. Alright, if you see all those orange dice, that's 6 inches in every direction from the Khorne berserkers. So as you can see, that's quite a large area that these guys can move. I go to move my guys, I measure from the edge of their base, and at the center of this, the dice is basically 6 inches. Infantry in the game moves 6 inches. You have jump infantry, you have beasts, they move at different speeds, like 12. Vehicles and walkers have their own movement, and we'll talk about those in the appropriate sections. But for the most part, infantry guys move 6. If you say had a hero in there, or an independent character with a jump pack who moves 12, and he's in it with a unit that moves 6, then the unit moves at its slowest speed. So that independent character would have to move 6 along with the unit. He could leave the unit and move 12, but that's a whole different thing. So next we're going to talk about moving through your own guys. Alright, we have this unit of Imperial Guard, these 4 guardsmen right here. They want to move 6 inches, as you can see over to the side here. 6 inches. So basically they would have to go around the ratlings that are in front. The reason I say that is, since the base cannot fit between, then the guardsmen cannot move through the ratlings. So they would have to actually go around something like this. That would be acceptable. If you were going to move the ratlings, of course you'd want to move the ratlings first and then move the guardsmen. Then you wouldn't have that problem. If the ratlings were okay, now the ratlings you can see are a little bit farther apart. If you notice, a base will now move, can pass through there. Oops, actually, let's make it where it can. A base can pass through there. So now these guys could move their 6 inches as such, hopefully not falling down, and that would be their move. 2 inches is unit coherency, and you've got to maintain unit coherency. And what does that mean? Basically, unit coherency means every model in the unit cannot be any farther apart than 2 inches. As you can see, most people I play with don't spread out all the way 2 inches. That takes up a lot of real estate, but you can. The thing about movement is you can't come within 1 inch of an enemy model when you move. So if you had those 4 guardsmen, the green bead would be, say, an objective, and you want to get over there to objective to control it. These guys would have to stay 1 inch away when moving. You cannot pass within 1 inch of an enemy model. So depending on where the Khorne Berserker was placed, you could probably screen it. The only time you can enter within 1 inch of an enemy model is in the close combat phase. You actually get a 6-inch move, so that's when you could actually get into base-to-base contact. But we'll go over that in the close combat phase. Alright guys, we're going to talk about terrain. Terrain is your friend. And 40K, here's some of my personal terrain. I use that for woods, a big old temple, pyramid, ziggurat, whatever you want to call it, rocks, forests are real common, bunkers, ruins, hills. Terrain in 40K is what makes the game so cool, because your guys actually, you want to move into terrain. You want these sniper dudes. Well, having a hard time here this morning, guys. You want these sniper dudes in terrain because it gives them a cover save from all the uber blasty weapons. Alright, terrain, basically there's 3 types. It's called clear, difficult, and impassable. Clear terrain might be something like a cornfield, or what else would be open. Most stuff in the game is actually difficult terrain. Difficult slows your movement down when trying to move through it. And then impassable terrain. Impassable terrain might be a lake or some very tall hills. When you try to move through clear terrain, no problem. You just move your 6 inches and you're good to go. Actually, examples of open terrain is everything right here. It's basically the playing field. Everything, you know, is categorized, and you should talk to your opponent before playing a game. What is what, because there's nothing worse than you thinking it's one type of terrain and your opponent calling it something else. So, alright, difficult terrain, you basically roll 2 dice and then take the highest, and that's how far you move. So for example, say you got these rattling snipers here. They want to get over here, the game's getting late, they want to move over here to this objective. So what they would do, so what you do is you'd roll 2d6, and I rolled a 3 and a 5. So instead of their normal 6-inch move, these guys, you can move each one of them 5 inches. So you'd move them out. They wouldn't quite be to their objective, but you'd measure for each one of those and move them 5 inches. When it came their shooting phase, if they wanted to capture that objective and they had to be on it, they could run, basically run. You'd go another 5 inches, and as you can see, they would be on the objective. Alright, right here we have what I use for woods. Woods is considered area terrain. Area terrain means that, the way we play it is this whole foam area is woods, not just, look, I'm behind an individual tree. Oh, I can shoot that guy because he's not. No, area terrain means all these guys would be considered in terrain. And then we're going to talk about dangerous terrain. Dangerous terrain is terrain that could actually injure one of your guys. Something that dangerous might be a swift-moving river, a lava field, something to that effect. And basically what that means is each guy that moves into dangerous terrain would roll a dice. So let's say our rattlings here aren't too smart and they end up moving into this gray foam, and we'll say this gray foam is an ash pit and it's dangerous. So what we would do is every model would roll a d6 that entered that terrain. I rolled a 2, a 5, and a 1. That means one of these guys would actually take a wound because something bad happened to him in the ash pit. Alright, after dangerous terrain you have what's called impassable terrain. Impassable terrain is terrain that you can't move through or stop on. You look at this big pyramid. We have used it as impassable. It doesn't have to be, because as you can tell, look, a guardsman will stand up on it. Always discuss the terrain with your opponent before you play a game. That way there's no confusion. and no one gets upset.